Hey, boys and girls. This is Richie again for another episode of the Fiend Cave podcast. As always, I am joined with my good buddy.
Did you just say the pot test?
The podcast.
Podcast. Okay.
There we go.
Pot test. I was
pot test. No,
well,
it's not legal here.
We missed 420 by like 2 days. So.
Oh. Well, I don't.
Anyway.
I don't do that anymore. So.
I called my parents just to be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Did you go 420? 420. They're like, we know,
I
son.
don't partake either. I just.
No. I used to be a major.
Hey, I'm saying right now they should legalize it because there's nothing really wrong with it.
No, not at all.
But,
I mean, it will be eventually. But,
yeah. But I don't have the money to blow on it, so.
No. I barely have enough money for all my toys that I buy.
Exactly. I have an addiction, and it is nerddom.
Yes. Not a bad nerddom to have,
yeah.
Better than, hardcore drugs or...
Valid.
Yeah, so... Anyway, yes, I'm Richie, joined by my co-host with the most...
Hello, this is Sean. And we're on episode 69. Why do you say 69? Because this is the episode of love.
Ooh,
passion.
Yeah. Bolt.
I don't know what number we're on, but
I'm not even going to say a number anymore because I've deleted enough episodes and we're not going to jinx this.
There's a funny side note. This is actually a re-recording because we lost the original episode of this. We both agreed it was a good thing though because basically we had better ideas. Some of our choices were a little.
Yeah.
So
it's like, let's trade these in for some better, some hubbas. So,
well, it's bad when you're like laying in bed like 2 days later and you're just like, I don't even like that character that much. What was I thinking?
I can't whack off to that.
No. Let's be clear.
I can't.
Hell,
I'll drink to that. Having a monster. No, I'm not drinking.
Having a choice there, Mm-hmm. But anyway, so this is going to be a re-recording of our top 5 fictional crushes.
Yeah, top 5. Like we've been continuing on, and it's been working out so well, and we're just going to continue on with this. And
I think I was the one that initially was like, dude, we should do like crushes, just because I think that night I was like horny and I was like thinking about like hot fictional characters I was always into.
You were looking at the hot cosplay.
That's exactly what it was.
And you were just like, you know what, we need to do a list.
That's what it was. I'm not even lying. We were literally sitting here. I was on my phone, and there's of one of the characters. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but there was like I was looking up a cosplayer of like a certain character. And I was just like, you were like, what should we do a list on? I was like, top 5 fictional crushes.
And I was just like sold because, I'm a guy, and stuff.
We're both.
We grew up, with fictional video games, comic books, movies, whatever, So we grew up with that. We had crushes and still do. So.
2 hetero males that are nerds and, and it happens.
Your crush, it could be different than ours. It could be, could be as we talked about maybe on the last podcast I deleted. It could be aliens or whatever you wanted to. So
it can be anything. Just because we're both generally heterosexual doesn't mean something might come up.
Right? Yeah. So it's whatever your preference is.
I'll never forget. Like the funniest was that was when I realized this kid was cool. My friend's little brother, like this was years ago, we were watching like Entertainment Tonight or something,
right.
And like RuPaul came on.
Yeah.
And it was funny as hell because his little brother was like 10, 11.
Oh no.
And his brother's like, that black lady is hot. And he goes, you realize that's a guy, right? And like blatantly, this kid just goes, eh. I was like... Even at the time, I was like, this kid's pretty cool. Like, he's pretty open-minded.
You're okay in my book, kid. Yeah.
That's just funny.
So, yeah. But yeah, so, this will be our lists. And, we always want comments,
Sure.
We always, comments.
The whole thing, keep in mind, is we're guys that tend to go towards girls. So they're pretty much all of these are going to be females on our list.
Yeah. I don't know. It might be a hot alien. I don't know. On the list.
I would love to have some of our female listeners, which I know there's at least 2 or 3 of them out there that, like, give us your list of like fictional characters.
I always want to see lists.
It's really cool. You know.
I do have to admit, last couple podcasts that we did, on Instagram, the page on Instagram, we've been getting a lot of people sharing their lists. So that's been cool that they share it with us.
That's awesome.
But yeah, let's share it on YouTube as well, so on the videos. So.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Also, here's a note for the episode. The last two we recorded were with our friend Brock. We did Danzig and Misfits, and we said they were the After Dark episodes because we were just kind of like dropping the F-bomb left and right. We're going to go back to tame here, I think.
It's going to be semi-tame. But
I mean, something might leak out, but for the most part, we try to censor ourselves a bit.
Yeah, those episodes were fun, we dropped the F-bomb quite a bit, and which we like to do. And,
unfiltered, basically.
Those episodes were a lot of fun, too. So we got to have them back sometime later on to do some more metal or even non-metal stuff. So shout out to Brock, hopefully he listens to this episode, when we put it up. And,
very cool, dude.
Very cool. His band's awesome. Love the track that we put up at the end of the Danzig episode. If you guys haven't listened to it, go check it out.
He's officially a friend of the podcast.
That's right. That's a returning friend. Whenever.
Right on.
But so
without any further ado, I think we should start on our list.
Should we go to the list, or
do you want to do rock paper scissors for who's gonna go first?
I don't remember who did last.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so let's do rock paper scissors.
Rock paper scissors. Rock paper scissors. All right.
That's you. You got the paper. So.
Therefore, you go first.
Oh, okay. So
I got paper on his rock, just in case anybody was wondering out there.
That doesn't sound sexual at all, but
well. He scissored me.
I was waiting for another one like that. Don't rock my scissor. Or paper up my rock. I don't know.
By the way, guys, update. I just burped Whopper, and let me just say, not as good the first time as it was the first time around.
We're getting sidetracked, but that's all right.
No, this is good.
We had Burger King. Burger King. Don't you love them? Just my all like little, parts of the globe I bring in here or whatever.
Either that or you're having a stroke. I can tell.
Well, we are getting older. I don't know. It might happen.
Anybody else want pancakes? Uh-oh, my left side's numb.
I have 2 flapjacks.
Just kidding.
Anyway, we had Burger King earlier, so we stopped out and got some, cool toys and whatnot, and stopped at Burger King too, and so...
Burger King, good.
Burger King, it was very tasty, so...
Except the second time when I burped.
Oh, anyway. It's never good when it comes back up. Especially when it all comes back up. But anyway, that's beside the point.
That comes later.
Yeah, exactly. Or at the other end. Anyway. So anyway. All right, I'm starting off first.
Yes.
Okay, so top 5 fictional female crushes.
Starting at number 5, moving up to number 1.
Oh, yes, sir. Counting down, my number 5. And I've kind of grown up with this character. She's from a video game. If you're into video games, fighting video games for that matter, even Capcom games, how could you not find this chick irresistible? And that is Morgan from Darkstalkers. I mean, what can we say? Hubba hubba.
See, this is what's cool. Like, this is not a character I'm, like, really familiar with. I know who it is.
Right.
But, that's cool. Like, she's got a definite, look to her that is different from, everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I believe she has, blue hair.
She has green hair.
Green hair.
She has green hair, yeah.
But
green hair, bat wings.
Bat wings coming out of her hair, which I always that's kind of odd. Can she fly via those?
Yes, she can. Okay. She can. She's a succubus, and I
got nothing bad to say about the succubus. Yeah. Just throwing that out for...
Just the bad ones in real life.
Oh, real life, that's different.
We're speaking fictional.
There's a difference between a demon succubus and just a succubus from, real life that's just a total bitch.
Makes your life live in hell. Exactly, so... Anyway, so she's awesome. When you think Darkstalkers, you can't think, they couldn't have video game without her.
She's a character that, whenever they make a Capcom versus game, she tends to make an appearance.
Yeah, all 3 of the Marvel vs. Capcom games she's been in, and I believe the new one she should be in. She hasn't been announced, but the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I believe is what it's called.
Right.
She'll be in that because you can't have,
Well,
the game without
typically
her.
the two characters they always bring from Darkstalkers are either Morgan or Felicia.
Or Felicia. Felicia's another good one. So.
Right, but Morgan is more iconic in my
She's
eyes.
more iconic than any of the characters,
Again, like the pink fishnets, the pantyhose,
the bat wings and stuff. And
she's got like a evil woman vibe going. It's cool. It's cool.
Evil and playful, I suppose. But,
yeah, she's still cute.
And so
I get you on that.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some great cosplayers out there.
Not only are there cosplayers, I told Richard last time we recorded that I may or may not have seen a pornographic short film of a woman dressed as said individual doing some fairly naughty things. It was good.
Now, do yourself a favor and do not go and Google this.
No. Do yourself a favor and go and do an incognito window or something that so you don't get a bunch of viruses and then
right. Absolutely.
Yeah. It was good.
Check it out, I suppose.
It wasn't okay. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah. Well,
I got what I paid for, and I didn't pay anything. So
see. I got what I paid for free. Hell yeah.
I was like, I'm not even into this game series, but all right.
But I belong for the ride. All right. Anyway, that was my number five. With Morgan. All right.
Decent choice. Nothing bad to say.
No, you can't. Yeah, it's a hot choice to have. So, all right. All right. You, Mr. Shaw.
All right. My number five, actually, I was hinting at it earlier, and this was actually the inspiration for this list because this was the character I was looking up cosplay wise because there's a really hot cosplayer that dresses up like this character. So my number five is the DC character Power Girl, which iconic. My God. Yeah, okay. Huge breasts. I'm not even gonna lie.
Super
powerful. Well, she's Kryptonian, so I mean, you know. I love that they've explained away the boob window by saying, well, she's Supergirl from another universe, but she's trying to distance herself from Superman. So the first thing she did was she ripped the S off of her chest.
Oh, yeah. So let's just make a little boob window.
Right. So it's so that's how you're going to explain her just having massive cleavage. I'm not complaining, but that's a little...
I've seen some of these cosplayers pull this off, and they pulled it off well. and both, references. So
absolutely, I've always been a fan of tough female characters, and I mean, how much tougher can you be than a Kryptonian?
Oh, definitely.
Also, I have always been into chicks that have really great legs, and Power Girl is wearing a unitard and blue boots.
Yeah, definitely.
So straight up showing off the gams.
The powerful legs and the blonde hair.
I mean, I'm sorry. Throw a stick at a Comic-Con and you're gonna find some cosplayer dressed up as Power Girl, and I'm gonna be happy.
Speaking of Comic-Cons, we should keep two pervs like us out.
No, let us in because we're not bad.
You know what? I will just wear some real shady sunglasses. So
giving us a bad rap here. No, I know some people that should never be in a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I keep to myself, and I'll stare, but I'm not gonna do anything.
You've all done it with your eyes and in your mind, but
but at the same time,
good there.
Right. I just want to go out saying, cosplayers, I love what you do. You do, I'm fascinated by what goes into making the outfits.
There's a lot of hard work.
Hard work, determination. I mean, the fact that you've got to be in kind of shape to do it. And, at the same time, though, I've never been to a Comic-Con, but if I was, I would never do anything. We joke about it, but I would never do that. I just want to...
Yeah,
I want to make that clear.
We're guys, we're joking,
Sure, and, I have a lot of respect for them. I know that a lot of, San Diego Comic-Con has issues with people that think that if you're dressed up Power Girl or something, you're allowed to be groped, and that's not cool at all.
Well, and that's, I guess, the story of, girls going out and stuff, and if they're wearing, something that they might consider Slinky. I don't know, but
sure. And I mean, you know, mind you, we're talking about females that we have crushes on. We've had crushes on since we were like younger, but
yeah,
at
teens
the same
and
time,
maybe beyond. So
yeah, we're being horn dogs tonight, but you know, we
it's
still
part
respect.
of the episode.
We still respect women.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah.
I wouldn't have a loving girlfriend if it wasn't, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I didn't. So anyway.
But yeah, Power Girl has always like stuck with me.
Power Girl.
She's 10 times hotter than Supergirl ever.
I
mean, Supergirl's cute, but like Power Girl's like that next. Like she's a little more mature.
I totally agree with you, and we should really go to the Ohio Comic Con this year.
I've never been to a con before.
I haven't been in a couple years, and man, I want to go back. You know.
Right.
It's just you'll see the cool cosplay. You'll see all kinds of cool shit to buy. And
which, mind you guys, when Richard puts up the music video with this, I'm going to make sure that he gets a picture of this cosplayer as Power Girl.
Definitely, we need good representation.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
We gotta do it.
I think I showed him a picture. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's Power Girl.
Yeah,
we're good."
Might have saved it. Might have deleted it, knowing my luck. Who the hell knows? But
I might have a few pictures on Pinterest. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I saw you sent me the link to that. But anyway. All right, yeah. So good choice, man, for your number 5. That's a good start to your list.
Right on.
Awesome start. So I guess we're back to me, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Okay, so number 4, counting down. We're gonna go with comic book I used to read, you know, and have so many issues, has a lingerie issue even, you know, and that's from Chaos Comics. You're a kid sort of the 90s or whatever, you know kind of what I'm talking about, and that's Lady Death. Not only is she hot, you know, she's beyond, you know, pale, white, but she's a badass, you know.
Yeah.
Goes to hell and takes on the devil. I mean, how much more metal or badass can you be than that? So.
What's funny is, like, right as he said that, I looked over at his, like, Lady Death figure on the wall. It is a badass figure.
Badass figure. It's it is indeed old one from the mid or early 90s. So yeah.
Mind you, another very busty female for the list.
Oh, dude, you know she had to be, you know.
She was like, I remember like looking at comics back in the 90s and being like, if they ever tried to make a movie of this, the closest they would find would be maybe Pamela Anderson, but
they would have to, yeah.
But it's like even then, like I don't think she would like fit the figure at all.
She'd have to, and as much as you know, Pamela Anderson's banging, you know. She'd have to drop a little bit of weight.
She has a pencil thin waist.
No, yeah.
But I like that. Like,
but she has the hair though. She could do the hair white. It would be perfect.
Yeah. The thing I love about Richard's list so far is like it shows that like he's more of the, you know, he goes for like the kind of spooky horror type characters like Morgan and Lady Death. That's awesome. I love it.
Definitely. But it might not stop there.
No, right.
But yeah, definitely. And the guy, you know, initially first drew her, Stephen Hughes, rest in peace. He's been dead for many years, but yeah, he drew her perfectly.
I mean, basically, I'm looking at her right now, and I've never really like paid attention too much. I mean, there's a lot of skin showing, but like, it's basically just her outfit is just like lingerie bra, like armbands, and then a cape.
She had like the skull lingerie, and all kinds of stuff, you know.
So I mean, what wouldn't a growing boy love about this character?
So definitely like you know, the independent, you know, chaos that, you know, was around. Awesome comic book for, you know.
Yeah, sure. Didn't she like, you know, like take on hell or something?
She did. She kills the devil initially in the storyline, and she becomes the ruler.
See,
without giving too much away. I mean, like I said, metal.
Yeah, metal, and you know, even though they're very nice to look at, but you know, strong female characters yet again.
Yeah, like I said, awesome artist that did it. You know, creator did her. So you know, and there's tons of comic books you can go. You know, they brought the comics back out, so it's like newer ones. I'm not familiar with those. I haven't read them in a while, but
I have never read any Chaos comics. I'm kind of curious. Like I would kind of like be interested.
Old ones are awesome.
Nostalgic purposes, yeah.
Story is top notch. Of course, the art is top notch. And they did an anime too, which is very cool. You know, and it's not, you know, it's rated R, blood, and everything.
Sure.
So,
I'd
it's pretty
expect no
badass.
less, but
So,
yeah. That's one of those series, like, I wouldn't mind, like, picking up some old Evil Ernie's and some Lady Deaths.
I'll let you borrow them anytime you want
sure,
to, dude.
Sure,
They're
all
pretty
right.
awesome, but yeah. So, yeah, Lady Death.
Yeah, great choice.
Oh, thank you, dude. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Moving back on to you, Saw.
All right, well, now we move into, like, my little kind of, like, my dipping my toe into, like, the horror a little bit.
A little spooky, too, maybe.
Well, she's not so much spooky. She just finds herself in spooky situations. Going with a video game vixen here. Well, not vixen, but character. My number 4 is Jill Valentine from the Resident Evil series.
Hell yeah, man.
Again, going with the strong female character, but, you know, you're going to notice a trend with some of the characters on mine. Like, they're not necessarily, like, overtly sexual. Like, Jill was cute, like, had the little beret, I like that, but she was more just a female character in the game.
Right.
Attractive, but, like, especially in the first game, she's wearing, like, a jumpsuit. There's nothing really, like, sexy about it.
There's no really skin showing or anything like that, but she's still sexy.
Right.
You know?
She was always interesting to me because in the original game, you had Jill and you had Chris. And Chris was kind of like the beefy guy that he could take more hits. He had less inventory spots, and you know, with him, it was more like a physical game. Whereas with Jill, it was more like she had a lockpick, she had more inventory slots to hold weapons.
Right, she had more in her arsenal, so to speak.
Right, but she couldn't get hit as many times. But she was a little faster too.
Right.
You know, lithe on her feet. But yeah, she was cool. Like, I loved, like, I just identified with her in the first game just because, hey, house full of zombies and other creatures, keeps a level head, just a cool character. You know, they sexed her up a little bit for Resident Evil 3.
Sure.
But still a cool character. I don't like the redesign where they made her a blonde and all that nonsense later.
I didn't really care for that.
You know, Resident Evil kind of went crazy over the last few. They're just now getting back to being good. We'll see where these characters go. But to me, Jill Valentine is always like wearing that beret, the jumpsuit.
That beret, the jumpsuit is iconic, you know.
Grenade launcher or some other weapon.
Absolutely, you know. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, taking on a giant snake or something. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very iconic to Capcom, the Resident Evil series, and she's just an all-around hottie, you know.
She
like
also,
I said, she didn't have to show skin to be hot, you know.
Didn't she show up in one of the Marvel vs. Capcoms as well?
She did. She showed up in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I believe. Okay.
So. That's what I thought. I knew.
And I wish I still owned that, or I wish I still had it.
I think I still have it on my 360.
Oh, do not ever delete that because the copyright is done where they're not, you know, license done for now, so they're not.
Yeah,
you can't buy the game, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I still have it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. She has like zombies that come out, and she has like the rocket launcher. It's very cool. I miss playing that one.
Yeah. Love that character. Always have.
Can't even play it on Fightcade, and if you know anything about Fightcade, you know what I'm talking about. free fighting games that you can play online and shit. So. But awesome choice, man. Yeah, she's awesome.
Good old Jill Valentine.
Even in some of the comics, you know, they brought out, she was in.
Yeah.
And she was awesome in them.
Master of Unlocking.
Yeah, so got that lockpick. But anyway, right on.
Back to you, sir. Right.
So my number 3, counting down, is another, could be possibly spooky, I guess. Again, we're focused on, I guess, 90s, and that's image title, and that is Witchblade.
Witchblade.
She didn't even have, technically, clothes half the time that she
half
wore.
The time, yeah.
It was the wristband gauntlets, symbiote stuff that you, I guess, could call it.
It was an afterthought on the clothes.
That was her clothes, yeah.
Right.
You, as a young lad, you wanted to be that stuff, so.
Again, iconic. I didn't really read the actual Witchblade comic as a kid. Yeah. I remember I read, there was a mini-series that was like Medieval Spawn and Witchblade.
Witchblade was there.
And it was like, it was a wielder of the Witchblade back in medieval times.
Yeah, that's where it started out.
I dug it. It was cool. Like, the whole legend was kind of cool, but yeah. It's an interesting concept.
I like it. She's, storyline is she's a cop, you know, in New York. And, you know, she somehow gets this on her, and it, you know, just binds with her, and she, you know, she uses it. You Yeah, old Image comic, Mark Silvestri started it.
Yeah, Top Cow.
Top Cow, yeah, Productions, and then Michael Turner took it over. Which rest in peace is actually his birthday today, and
yeah,
amazing. The guy could draw women like nobody else could.
Yeah.
The detail and just like even the lips and stuff, the way he would draw them and all that is awesome. And
speaking of Witchblade, I gotta ask, what did you think of that like live action show?
I have it. I own it. I bought the DVD like years ago when it came out. I love the actress that plays her. It's really different. It was made for like TNT,
right?
So they didn't obviously do a suit like that.
I don't remember.
We're looking at the figure that's also on my wall. So
I don't remember her being naked on that show.
There was like one scene that was like deleted, but came back for the DVD where you could see like her ass. But other than that, it was very medieval looking.
Sure.
In the show, she had the glove like the whole time.
Right, that's cool. I was just curious.
It was a different take on it, but the actress like nailed the way she looks to like a T. So
now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they also do like an anime movie too?
They did a series of them. And they were different storyline.
Gotcha.
But more flesh, like the comic books.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, more fleshy because in anime you can get away with a lot of stuff. But.
Yeah, it's a cool character. Again, iconic, very 90s kind of. I noticed
very 90s, and I'm still going back and collecting the comics. I love them.
Yeah. Again, like I was more into the Darkness myself.
The Darkness was badass too. He was part of the mafia,
Sure.
Yeah.
I just remember they like would meet.
They would kind of have
crossovers.
Well, Mark Silvestri and Michael Turner. They did that all the time. So
yeah, but yeah.
It's good stuff,
as much as we talk smack about 90s comics, there was some good stuff there.
As I always tell you, that was my favorite time for comics, whether it's Image, Marvel, DC, all of them, or, Chaos. So, there was actually something else I was going to say about, they did a Darkness video game. Well, they did two actually, which were pretty cool. I enjoyed them at least.
I don't think I ever played them.
They were like the comic, and I wish they kind of would have made a video game of her.
Witchblade.
Yeah, that would have been pretty sweet. So
yeah, I'm surprised they probably had one planned at some point, and they just never got.
There was all that stuff, and it just never makes it off the ground.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, the comic bubble burst in the late '90s, and everything got messed up. So.
Yeah, so they tried. There was a bunch of stuff that made it out, and then there was stuff that didn't, and there was stuff that you didn't even know came out.
Right.
Like I was telling you about Ultraverse, having a cartoons. Like I didn't even know that. I'm watching on YouTube now, so it's crazy, man.
Great choice though, like straight up.
Anyway, my number 3.
Yeah, props.
Yeah.
It's funny because we go to my number 3, and it's like I was just suddenly influenced by your '90s, like riding the '90s wave, because my number 3 is actually like the most cheesecake character of the '90s, in my opinion. She encapsulates some physical traits that I find super attractive in the opposite sex.
The strength.
Well, the strength. The fact that she always was drawn as if she had mile-high legs.
Oh, yeah, she had legs for days.
Is a plus with me. Yeah. And the fact that she was a redhead. I'm speaking about Gen 13's Caitlin Fairchild. Which
awesome choice.
Any kid of the 90s that was reading comics back then will remember some J. Scott Campbell covers of Gen 13. Like, full on cheesecake.
They did back in the 90s a Wildstorm swimsuit comic book.
Oh, yeah.
Which I have. I'll have to show you.
I think I had it, yeah.
But yeah, of course, Fairchild was in it, and
like all 3 members of Gen 13, all 3 females were all attractive, of course, as comic, but like Fairchild was kind of like the leader of the team.
The leader of it, yeah.
She had like super strength and like could do like Hulk leaps basically.
Right, absolutely.
But it was kind of cool that she was a bookworm before she was like
before changed. She got to her powers. So
yeah, and, like she hulked out basically, but like was still super hot, like she freaking Amazon.
Super hot, strength, but bookworm. So it's like, how can you go wrong there, redhead?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
everything about this script, there's no reason Sean wouldn't love this character as a kid.
She's awesome. Like I said, originally created by Jim Lee and then handed over to Campbell, J. Scott Campbell. which was another guy amazing drawing women, just amazing artist too.
Right,
So,
and it was funny because, in the 90s, like, everybody was into X-Men, kids loved the X-Men, but, like, some of us that were more in the know, like, yeah, if you like X-Men, Gen 13's where you need to go. If you're, like, junior high and you're starting to get into girls, you start reading Gen 13.
Oh, yeah, you picked it up because you saw the artwork. And
the art was great.
The artwork is awesome. And it's like,
the girls are hot.
It's like, okay, and it's like, okay, the story is pretty cool, too. So, it's a cool comic.
It was fun. That was the important part.
It was a fun read and, was easy on the eyes. So.
Again, I would have to go back and read more to, like, give you more aspects of her character, but iconic in my eyes. It just, again, cosplayers, man. You cosplayers.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen too many cosplayers pull it off. Do I need to like Google this?
There's a few. I've looked them up. Yeah, there's some good ones.
We go to a convention. Are we going to see some?
I don't
since
know.
They're trying to bring, some of the Wildstorm back.
I don't know if you would see like a Fairchild. Like that's more of an obscure character these days.
Yeah.
But like I've found a few that are pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Again, not the hardest character to like do a cosplay of. Like
no, she's kind of wearing like the skin tight,
the green and kind of bluish skin tight
outfit with legs for days.
Legs
just
for
wear
days,
like boots, right?
Like green and blue boots.
Boots and then like red hair.
Red hair, yeah.
Yeah.
So like basically like I saw one where it was just a girl that like got like a green, like a body glove. Like basically like a swimsuit and then just, legs, boots,
sure.
good.
I mean, honestly, there's a tiny bit more to it, but yeah, that's exactly
what
it is.
In the comics, like, again, legs for days.
You got like a little zipper, I think, on there, yeah. So it's like, oh, you can get out of that?
But it was always
so
cool,
tight.
like, in the comics, seeing this, like, girl with, like, huge, like, long legs, like, picking up a rock and chucking it at somebody.
Right.
Like, that's cool.
Sexy as hell, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But, hopefully, maybe where they're trying to get Wildstorm back, and
yeah, who knows?
Maybe we'll get some cool stuff from like Fairchild or something. Maybe we'll get a pop.
Well, she tried.
They
they brought him into like the DC universe at one point, and like she popped up in Superboy in the New 52 era, and
nice.
It was cool. Like I was happy because I was like, hey, it's Fairchild, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't catch on.
Well,
you never know, though. They're doing the Wildstorm again right now in DC, so you never know, something might come up.
Hey, I'm just happy they're trying, so that's awesome. Yeah, so, yeah, definitely, man. That's awesome. Great choice.
Yeah, thank you.
Great choice for your number 3.
Numero Trace.
Yeah.
Numero Trace.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so back to me. My number 2 is going to be my first comic book love. A child of the 90s, whether it was the cartoon or the reading the Jim Lee comics, and everything. She was amazing, and you couldn't really touch her.
Oh,
which is kind of like a no-no. So it's, of course, Rogue from X-Men. I mean,
like
how do you not find her? Yeah.
She's like such the perfect explanation of like when you're a teenage boy, all right? Because you're just starting to get into girls. You're like, oh my god, like, girls are great. This is where it's going on. You can't touch her though, because you'll die.
It really is. It's like, oh, like no, look, but you can't touch. Like in this case, it's for real.
But yeah, like she had something going on about her. Like I always even as a kid, I loved like the white streak in her hair.
The white streak she got, the headband.
Yeah, the headband. The southern accent.
Oh god, the southern accent.
Like the green and yellow jumpsuit with like the little leather jacket over top.
How about that belt that was like too big, that kind of sagged on her one hip?
The belt made no sense whatsoever, but it was great because it was always hanging halfway.
It's always hanging. It's like, I'd want to be that belt.
I just remember,
suit. Yeah, so
like like looking back at it now, it always cracked me up. They always found every excuse in the book for her like outfit to be blown off of her.
Oh,
but she's still fighting, and like half of
it's
her
gone, ripped off.
Half of her anatomy is hanging out, but she's still fighting.
I love it. Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, oh, guys, you do realize you touch your skin, you're gonna you're gonna go have a bad time.
It's worth it. I don't care. I don't care if I'm gonna die.
Which was really funny. I remember we outthought Marvel at one point.
Yeah.
My friends and I, because we're huge X-Men fans. I'm gonna tangent for a moment here on Rogue, but it pertains to Rogue.
Right.
Was just the fact in the comics and in the cartoon, Gambit was into Rogue and Rogue was into Gambit. Like, they had this thing going. They were, fell in love, but he couldn't touch her, and, it was like her big thing. Okay, think for a moment. Does anybody else remember the episode of X-Men where they go to Genosha and they put the,
the collar.
The collars.
Yeah.
How hard would it have been for, like, Xavier to, like, grab one of those collars after they freed Genosha and be like, "Merry Christmas, here's your collar." And
you guys want to do some love making?
Like let Rogue and Gambit go have some R&R for a weekend and just go nuts.
Right.
Like, even as a kid watching that, I was like, duh, you can fix this real simple.
And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, the old X-Men cartoon from the 90s, they had these collars when they got captured from the island. They put on it where, like, they couldn't use their powers only when they wanted them to, and they would turn them off. So.
Sure, but basically, so they had, you put the collar on, you hit the button, and, no mutant power. So
and then you switch it. And
The flip side of that, though, as a kid, I was always like, well, what would happen if Wolverine put the collar on? Like, granted, his healing factor wouldn't work, but, like, he could still pop Claw, couldn't he?
He could still do it, but there'd be, like, a bloody mess coming out of his hands.
Oh, sure, and he'd be, probably bleed out.
But, so, that's a good point. Yeah.
Right. But I was always, even as a kid, I was just like, just get her freaking collar, man.
Right, that's a very good point.
Just, like, how many episodes or how many issues of the comic where she was just, like, so melancholy because she could never touch another human being.
Right.
Boom, collar, fixed. Okay, we're good.
I'm going to go do them all now. Whatever. I got 10 boyfriends now.
Damn, I kind of want to write some fanfic now.
Hey, man, I'm going home tonight and doing
Go nuts,
So, yeah, definitely.
Why the hell not? Like, that's like, what do they call those? Like a plot hole there.
Yeah, there's a hole in the fiction or
whatever.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that they thought about that. They just wanted to keep the.
Oh, they all got destroyed. They didn't get any time to grab
one. They want to have the hole look, but you can't touch. They just want to keep that hole.
I get it. No, I mean, I totally get it, and I'm sure they could have written around it or something. But it's like, just as a kid, I just was like, dude, you want to get your jollies off? Just grab a collar.
Grab a couple. It's like. Let's just be normal humans for just an hour, 2 hours.
Well, I remember also that in the comics, they also made the whole thing was that, like, Rogue can never touch any other person because she'll absorb their power, except for Magneto. Somehow, if he had, like, his magnetic powers going, like, it negated it.
Yeah.
Which, like, made it kind of like almost, because he's, like, the most evil mutant, but, like...
Right, sure.
But so they had kind of a weird romantic relationship going.
Yeah, in the comic book series, going back to the 90s, Age of Apocalypse.
Well, sure, and then Age of Apocalypse, they actually had them married and having a child together.
Had a kid,
which is cool. But I always thought that was like an interesting concept. Is like, he's evil, but she's still kind of attracted to him because she can actually touch him, as opposed to like Gambit, who's a good guy, but she can't touch him because he'll die.
Right.
But.
See that stuff that they have to deal with.
Yeah, which is basically just goes all the way back to the whole concept that Sean is in high school, he's surrounded by cute girls, but he can't touch any of them because either their boyfriends will kill him or he'll be in trouble with the office.
Oh, being the comic nerd in school, I was known as the geeky little metalhead or whatever, and all the girls or whatever. Yeah, it was like, look what you can't touch. I was like, well, I can't even look and touch Rogue either. What the hell?
See, I was going to school. I had the quiet artistic kid thing going, which I found out later would have totally gotten me laid if I would have been just a little more outgoing because...
You don't know. If you could go back to high school now, and we all think about this, what would you do differently? And
I'll tell you exactly what I'd do differently. I'd send Marvel like a letter, like, Dear Marvel, Genosian collar, use it. Copyright Sean Duffy, 1992. Got some money off that, made some, maybe got...
Cha-ching! Put that in the bank. Yeah.
Maybe become a writer at Marvel, and we'd be having a totally different conversation right now.
I thought what you were going to say is kind of like Joe Rogan said in like one of his stand-ups. He's like, if I had a time machine, I would go back, to high school or whatever. It's called, I'm going to do me a bunch of bitches or whatever, pretty much is what he said. Not those words, but he's like, It's like, I'm gonna get some hoes.
But
yeah,
you know,
totally going off of it, but
X-Men was always that total philosophy because, you know, they're all different. They're all hated by society.
Sure.
What teenage kid didn't feel like the world was against them?
Absolutely, and that's what I try to explain to people that don't understand what you like about comic books per se, or the X-Men, or being, kid into comic books. So
that's why the X-Men was such a popular thing, because everybody loved the X-Men, because everybody has felt like that at one point.
Everybody's felt different, like a mutant, so to say,
So Rogue, of all the characters, Rogue is kind of like the perfect iconic mutant, because her power literally will kill someone.
Right. There really is no touch.
Right. Yeah. Yet she's still this very kind, caring character that you like.
Absolutely.
Very lovable and beautiful as well.
Oh yeah, definitely,
look but don't touch. I always was so disappointed in the movies when they made her way younger than everybody else. I hated that.
Yeah, okay, so I like the movies.
Sure.
I like the actress that played her.
Right.
I just didn't like that she played Rogue.
Yeah.
100%. I didn't have 100% problem with it. She did okay, but I would have rather them went more so like the comics.
Yeah, I always liked that she was a little older. She was
sure.
She hung out with the big boys, but you know.
Absolutely. She was one of the bigger, and
great, just one of those things.
But
again, iconic. How many video games, movies, Again, shows up in Marvel vs. Capcom at least.
Marvel vs. Capcom she's been in, everything. Other Marvel games, just about every Marvel or X-Men comic book. So yeah.
Oh yeah, again, almost as iconic as Cyclops, Wolverine.
Yeah,
Rogue's always in there in some
she's
capacity.
One of the X-Men. So So anyway, that was my number 2. So.
That's a good number 2.
Thank you, sir.
This is really funny because we're playing off each other, because I just realized my number 2 is actually a character that, without this character, Rogue would not be the Rogue that we loved in the 90s.
Absolutely.
And this is a character I have always liked, but I didn't until recently really, really get into, and she's skyrocketed on my list. The original time we recorded this didn't make the list, but this time, the more I've read of this character, the more I love her.
Yeah.
And my number 2
on the list now.
Yeah, my number 2 is Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
Formerly Ms. Marvel, as she was known in the X-Men era.
Right.
She was touched by Rogue early on, and her powers were absorbed by Rogue.
Taken from her, yeah.
Right, but basically, we've moved on from that time period. She's now Captain Marvel of the Marvel Comics universe.
Yeah. Things changed.
She's a tough, cool character.
Right.
The thing I love about her is she's attractive, hot blonde, but she's not overly sexual.
Yeah.
It's not not to accuse anything, but a Witchblade or a Lady Death.
Sure.
Or
it's they're showing so much skin. There's nothing left to the imagination.
Whereas yes, she has a very attractive figure, but it's a jumpsuit. It's
right. It is the spandex or whatever,
spandex,
but there's no boob showing.
Sure, a guy could easily wear her outfit, and you wouldn't think anything of it.
Sure. A guy could take over for her, I suppose.
Well, technically, the original Captain Marvel was a guy. She took over for him.
Right.
So,
but great choice.
What I love about the character is she's very grounded. The how she's written now is really cool. Just in that there's a lot of personality to her. She's a former Air Force pilot. She's becoming this character that's kind of defender of the universe. She's an Avenger. She goes on intergalactic missions all the time.
Sure.
But what's hilarious about her is she's obsessed with Star Wars. She's always quoting Star Wars in the comics. And it's just cool from a fan's point of view that your character is also kind of a nerd.
Actually quoting other nerdom, yeah.
But, and I love the fact that this character, she's becoming more iconic in Marvel. How many years, you think Marvel Comics, you think, Captain America, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, all guys,
Sure.
And now we're getting a character like Captain Marvel, who is a female, who is right up there next to them.
Just as badass.
Badass,
and sexy. So,
yeah, totally. And doesn't have to be don't get me wrong, I love She-Hulk, but doesn't have to have a moniker the female version of the Hulk. No, she's her own thing.
Right.
Like,
exactly. She's her
because
own
she's
character.
not even like Captain Marvel was a character. She is not that character. She is a completely different Captain Marvel.
Right.
But yeah, they just did Civil War II. She was, instead of it being Captain America and Iron Man having this big grudge, it was Captain Marvel and Iron Man.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell
yeah. They're doing a live action movie soon.
Which I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
It's a good character.
Go ahead. No,
I was just going to say, I think more female fans, younger girls, should definitely check out Captain Marvel. It's a really good character, and I really enjoy it.
Really good character. It's one to look up to. Girls are always looking for figures to look up to.
Absolutely.
This is a good character to look up to. And hopefully, by getting into her, maybe they'll check out the backstory as well.
Absolutely.
And, go back to the old comics.
Sure.
And find out about the Rogue and all that. I mean, and then, all the stuff now.
Sure. You got your Wonder Woman. You got your Batgirls. You got, all these iconic comic characters. But, I think Captain Marvel in the next 10, 15 years, she's going to be one of these icons, right next to him.
Well, you're seeing toys, of course, out of her now.
Yeah.
Which you got one today.
Yeah, I did.
It was actually. Cool. And you and I talked about this earlier. I loved the old Sue when she was Miss Marvel.
Sure.
I loved it when she changed her suit and she still had the long hair.
Yeah.
But I love the suit she has now. She has the short blonde hair. Well, it's still sexy and it's very.
But again, it kind of goes with that whole logic. When she was this statuesque blonde with this long flowing hair, it was okay, she's cool. What I like now is that it's more she's military almost, but it's. She's not trying to be sexy. She's just there. She's it's
all the hair's off, and it's like a short cut. It's kind of combed over in a sort of way.
I mean, nobody questions when Captain America's got a buzz cut. He's Captain America.
Oh yeah. Nobody's gonna question him for that shit.
I mean, he's wearing a mask too. I mean, she has a mask that kind of flips over her head, but her hair is still exposed, which is cool because it makes it look like she's got mohawk, which just makes her look even more metal.
Yeah.
But
she's badass. Yeah, exactly. That we were talking about earlier. It's you just like that because she looks like Otep kind of.
Oh yeah,
and it's that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. I mentioned that, and he was like, "Yeah, there is that kind of thing going."
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a cool character. I really. If you're listening, check her out. I dig her. It doesn't hurt that she again goes intergalactic. She hangs out with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
she's been a member of that team too.
Yeah, they've got toys of her out.
And
comics. She's getting more popular as we speak. She's always been around. She's always been kind of a popular character. But awesome.
And again, attractive physically, but also her character. I've fallen in love with.
Oh,
so, I have a major crush for Captain Marvel these days.
Very awesome.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
Very much.
And great choice, and that's your number 2, and that's awesome. So
very much.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Right on.
All
right, back.
All right, back to me, I suppose, with my number 1. Okay, so my number 1 is kind of, I'm not gonna say weird, but it kind of plays off the fictional and the reality.
Okay.
So, and we're talking about somebody who. Grew up seeing her in movies and TV and her alter ego, so to speak. And it is, I guess, another spooky one. 4 out of 5 on my list have been spooky, I suppose.
She's spooky.
She's spooky, and she just makes spooky fun.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you not like her? And that's Elvira.
Elvira.
That's Elvira. Yeah. How could you not like the spookiness, the playfulness of her? The sexiness.
Amazing Cassandra Peterson, who's
God.
65 and still looks
60s.
amazing.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
She's really a redhead, gorgeous. And then she puts on the costume. And for years, I didn't know what she really looked like.
Yeah.
And then I saw her. I'm like, holy shit, that's her.
Yeah,
she's gorgeous,
out
of the costume. But
such a cool character, a horror host. I love. The concept of horror host is one of my favorite things. I still watch Svengoolie to this day. But, Elvira
awesome.
Elvira was so cool just because, you had, that cool, watching horror movies and making fun of them and whatnot. But she was hot, too.
She was hot, poking fun of herself, too, making maybe, kind of little, sexual jokes or whatever.
Absolutely.
And, catching herself. But, it was all playful and everything.
Right.
And I remember, of course I told you this story. I remember going to the grocery store during Halloween and stuff like that, and they'd have the big cardboard cutout display of her when I was a kid, and Mom would like walk right by like the beer section or whatever, and I'd see it and like, I want to take this cardboard cutout home with me.
I remember watching, like, they used to show Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, the movie, like, a lot when I was a kid. I remember it was really funny, actually.
It's still so good. That's still one of my favorites, too, you know, from the 80s.
That's one of those, like, I wonder if it's on Netflix, because, like, I love watching it.
It was at one time. I don't know if it still is, but it's so iconic.
It's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. So many plays on words and, you know, sexual stuff. And my God, watching her paint that house and fix it up. All the other guys are, like, stopping and looking. And it's like, if you've ever seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, check it out.
I thought you were going to refer to the scene at the end where she's in Vegas with the tassels.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. There's so many good scenes.
Yeah,
so many good scenes.
As a kid, I was just like, wow.
But yeah. I love her car, too. That's awesome. She's got, like, the chain, like, pentagram, you know, steering wheel.
Yeah.
It's awesome, you know, and the... Oh yeah, it's awesome, dude. But yeah, she's
very cool.
She's she's
It's one of those, like, I was kind of like when I first started becoming friends with you, like finding out that was like your thing, and I was like, that's awesome. That's a cool choice right there. Everybody loves Elvira.
Yeah,
like if you don't, you've got issues.
I met one person that didn't know who she was.
Okay.
And I was astounded because even if you don't follow her, I think you know who she is. Yeah. I met her at a horror convention one year, and I got a picture taken with her. And I was like, well, hey, check it out. Here's a picture with me and her. And they're like, who's that?
Oh, my God.
Are you serious? Are you messing with me? So I was like, that's Elvira. Well, who's that? I'm like, oh, my God.
Mistress of the Dark?
Oh, we got to do some homework here.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, she's really nice, too. She's really nice to her fans. And
that's really cool. Like, I had heard that she was pretty cool with everybody.
Yeah, she's very cool, yeah. Take pictures and, you know, and just so
mad
nice
props.
To you and stuff. I was wearing, like, an obituary shirt and stuff like that. She's like, I love your T-shirt. I'm like, really? You listen to obituary? She's like, oh, yeah, I love it. And I was wearing, like, a skull, like, hat. And she's like, where'd you get that? She's very cool.
Very cool.
It makes the fandom, you know, the crush, you know, worse.
And I think the reason that she was, like, so iconic and still iconic is, like, she always seemed like she was, like, even though she was, like, smoking hot, like, she always kind of had that air like she was one of the fans, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was really cool about her.
Yeah. Seems that way. And people cosplay her all the time, and girls look up to her still, you know?
I remember, like, when I first moved into my new apartment, the apartment I've been in for the past, like, I think... I moved in 2008, so like almost 10 years.
Right.
When I first moved in, Friday nights on, I think it was like the CW, they showed a syndication of Elvira's show where she'd basically like do an MST3K and just like riff of a movie.
That's awesome. Yeah,
and
she has DVDs out of that too.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I remember it was on, and I was like, this is so cool, she's still doing this, and then they canceled it after a year. And I was like, damn it!
There's probably, none of fans are like, just want to keep with it. They're like, oh, this is just for Halloween maybe or something.
But yeah, I just remember I loved it. I was like,
oh, it's awesome.
I wish she was on more. But
yeah, she's awesome. Well, you know what? She's still doing it. She's in her, mid-60s.
Mid-60s, yeah. You got her. And she still looks great.
She still looks great. She still dresses up as Elvira, still goes to conventions. And
yeah, because I remember at one point she said something about she was going to retire. And
yeah, she was. She was going to retire, but then she's like, you know, I'm going to do it. And she came out with the big coffee table book.
Right.
Year or so ago, but I still want to get that. But so
well, and I mean with those horror hosts like John Zachary, if anybody knows who Zachary is, the guy he just died last year, and he was like 98, and he was still doing.
He was still doing it. Yeah, we still have him. You know, Svengoolie is still doing it.
Well, Svengoolie's I think he's in his 60s too.
Yeah, and then you got Fritz. Fritz is up there too.
Fritz, you know? Fritz the Night Owl
still doing it, man, which is awesome.
It's a dying. It's a dying breed, the horror host, and it's sad because it's not something that everybody's into anymore. Like late night movies having like a host that tells jokes and like kind of like keeps the environment going. But it's such a cool thing. I love it.
There's a small group of fans that are still into it.
Absolutely.
And thank God we have those, you know.
Like, we have, Svengoolie is still on the air. Yeah. I think he's, he's on right now, actually. As we speak.
It's going to say Saturday night.
Saturday night, 10 to midnight. every Saturday.
Yeah, check him out. Go on Google him.
Oh man, he's the best. But like Elvira,
Fritz, Elvira,
still around doing her thing.
Yeah, still doing her thing. And like I said, that's how could you not be inspired by all these horror hosts? And then she's still around doing it and being awesome.
Absolutely,
it's still sexy as hell. So
it's a really good one because it kind of defines who you are. Mm-hmm. Like I can respect that one from you being your number one, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. It had to be number one. There's so many didn't make the list, but it had to be number one.
Sure, but she's iconic.
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
It's your thing, like right on.
But
okay.
But anyway, that moves to you, sir. With your number one, and I'm very curious to hear about this.
This one's interesting because it's not one that I share a lot because it comes from like my adolescence. Like we're talking
way back.
Yeah. I was into girls like early on as a kid. Like I don't know if I like just bloomed early or what, but like I remember like 3 or 4. I was just like I want to go play with that girl on the swings. Like nothing sexual, just like
I just want to be around her.
And like. I remember watching like the old 70, I think it was like 78 King Kong, and like Jessica Lange was in that, and I remember as a little kid being like, she's pretty.
And Jessica Lange is,
she has
a hardcore following. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
She's still in stuff.
But this character actually, it's a character from a cartoon from the 80s. Not one that you would expect, but it just, as much as I love my Captain Marvel, I love my Power Girl and Jill and all these characters. It's just one that always sticks with me. I don't know what it is. I am not a furry. I'm saying that right up front. Not a furry. Not at all.
I didn't know what that was for the longest time, and then I watched like a little documentary on it. I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect for this to be a thing.
Right. But
anyway,
my number one is the Sorceress from He-Man.
Yeah, see, I that totally throws me off, because
Well, because
I would thought you would say Teela.
Exactly. Everybody thinks
Evil Lynn.
Or Evil Lynn. One of those two, because they were the ones that like everybody saw. But you go back and watch like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. She's in the opening.
Yeah.
And it's just something about this chick. Again, like granted, Teela and Evil Lynn were showing some leg, but it was
they were cute.
Yeah, but it's like something about Sorceress, showing some leg, wearing the blue boots, but she's got like this weird bird outfit thing going.
She's got like the
there's a headdress.
Exactly. So the headdress, and all that.
And I don't know. I as I remember, I think she had like a British accent, which always goes the extra mile for me as a kid.
Oh,
and me now.
Dude, that always does us in. So.
Accents do us all in.
We just like melt like, oh.
Right. But like, it was one that stuck with me for a while, and I remember going forward, Masters of the Universe, the live-action movie starring Dolph Lundgren, went to go see that with my cousin.
And just having high hopes for it.
And I was so excited, and like the movie starts, and then they show the Sorceress. I'm like, they show her like from behind, so you don't see her face. I'm like, well, she's wearing the headdress. That's cool. And they pan over, and it's some old lady, and I was like, what? Like, I was devastated at like 6. I was just like,
no, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
And then like she gets uglier through the movie. I was like,
Well, they do have her in that force field, so I always thought they kind of drained her of her power.
That's what they were doing.
So
she starts getting older and older.
Yeah, she's
but
like even when
when she's not in that, she's at least in her 50s. And I was like, no, she looked like. Basically, it looked like Teela wearing like a headdress. So I mean,
true.
Granted, the animation wasn't the greatest, so they never really said how old she was. But it was like,
well,
as a kid, I was just like, I don't know what it was about her. Maybe it was the fact that she was a strong female that was telling He-Man what to do all the time.
Go here, do this. You have the power, or whatever.
You must protect Castle Grayskull from Skeletor.
It's like, damn it! But this is every episode. I don't care. I'm tired of your shit. You have to.
Damn it, woman! Why
I'm
do I always have to do
Sorceress.
this?
Yeah.
Like you could turn into a bird and throw like magic at people. Why can't you take care of this?
Yeah. Can't I take a day off?
Why do I have to pick up a rock and chuck it at Skeletor and Beastman all the time? Like, sheesh, lady.
Oh, God. Poor Beastman. Always getting screwed. But yeah, that's a good choice. I wouldn't have.
It's not
one. Have thought of that.
And 20 nerds sit down and talk about fictional characters they had crushes on, and not one of them was going to say the
had
sorceress.
Had your choice, yeah.
Except sorceress. For me, and I stand by it. We changed this. We did this once and it didn't record, and I changed a few of my choices, but that one had to stay in because it's just
it was your number one.
Sticks with me to this day.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Well, that's just kind of like my number one.
Oh yeah, exactly.
As a kid, it's never changed.
Yeah.
So I totally get it.
Totally
get it.
Like even when I was like in my like Ninja Turtles April O'Neil phase, like redheads in yellow jumpsuits, I was still
and she was hot in that cartoon. So
yeah, and you just knew under that headdress the sorceress was a redhead. I always had this theory.
I know it had to be. It'll fall off at least once.
Right.
One episode.
Yeah. Well, she was all into magic and stuff. She was a freak.
Oh yeah. She could do freaky stuff with the magic.
Yeah,
probably. She was probably doing stuff with He-Man /
well, I figured because she was supposedly a little bit older, so I figured she had something going with like Man-at-Arms.
That's true. They could have.
Yeah. And like I remember reading like a comic that was like a alternate future of Masters of the Universe where Teela became the new sorceress, and it was like, Lizzie just got double hot going on,
Did she still wear
did she wear like? She wore the headdress, so it looked exactly like the old sorceress. I'm like, okay.
We need to try again and bring the cartoon back, because then they bring it back.
They did, and I remember she still was pretty hot on that too.
I was saying it wasn't a bad cartoon.
Actually, it was a lot better than the original.
Yeah, which I loved the original as a kid, but I go back and
watch it,
and I'm just like it's very entertaining to watch.
Sure.
But it's not like if I go back and watch X-Men, it's like, I still love the X-Men or
like Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
it's still flawless.
Like, oh my god, this is still so good. Yeah, exactly. That one, okay, it's like this is comic.
It's like I know it's gonna be bad, but I'm gonna watch it anyway because it is what it is.
It's like there it is, Beastman still getting screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the worst part is like Beastman can't even in Snake Mountain he can't even hide anything because he's got that stupid orange hair. That he got yelled at so many times for clogging the sink drain, and they're like, "Wasn't me, it was Merman." It's like, Merman suddenly has orange fur. Right? Okay.
Merman's just back there with his beady eyes.
Merman's just like, that's what you get.
I'm not taking this.
That's right. I forgot he talked like that. Poor Beast, man.
Oh God.
So that's my list. That's
that was an awesome number one.
Right on.
Of course, we had fun.
Up
with it. Even though I lost the recording, we kind of redid our list.
I think this one went a little better than the original. Even though the original was really good, I'm telling you right now, guys, I think this one was better.
The original went really good. We had a great time doing it. It was funny. I think we had a lot of good laughs in the original.
Right.
It was a bummer to lose it, but this one went really good, and we still had some laughs.
Right.
And it was still entertaining.
I am super excited on this one just because I can't wait to see the pictures Richard's going to put up for the music video.
I'm gonna put up. Not to be a horn dog. Well, for this episode, I'm just say I'm a horn dog. I'm Dick the horn dog.
Like I'm going to try to approve as many as I can, at least for my choices. Yeah. Be like, that was good.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna send them to you and be like, hey, how about this photo? When I do collage, because I'll do big collages, kind of like I did the weapons one we did. Mm-hmm. Where I did the collages all the weapons.
Right.
With chicks. And
totally.
And all of them. So I'll like, hey, but what about this one and everything, right. And all that, and there'll be some awesome music. I'm not gonna say what yet because you gotta check it out.
We worked that one out, and it's perfect for this one. So
yeah, it goes well with it, and I love doing these music videos, and I know you love that we do them too. So, awesome. And I want to do. Just because it's simply his birthday, but I was wanting to do kind of like an homage to Michael Turner too.
Okay.
With some hot chicks around it or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Put like some Witchblade, some Fathom in there, Supergirl. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. He was the man doing that stuff. So.
Well, before we finish off on this one, let's do some honorable mentions.
Oh yeah. We got honorable mentions. Do you want to say any?
I mean, I know some off the top of my head. I didn't give not a lot of love to DC, but like Black Canary has always been like a big one with me.
Black Canary's a hottie.
Catwoman as well.
How could you not like how and all of her different costumes over the years?
Oh, of course.
Even the Holly Berry one, kind of.
I was always partial. I love like the Jim Lee Hush outfit is probably my favorite.
Made that. They still pretty much use that one, right? I was gonna say that one is amazing.
I also love like the purple outfit she wore in like the 90s.
The 90s
Jim
purple
Belant.
one, yes.
Jim Belant
with the big cat ears, kind of like.
Well,
didn't they do the big?
They had ears, but like her hair was poking out the back.
Her hair was poking out, right? Yeah, that one. She had like the roll-on hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was hot. And I also love the Batman Returns one.
Oh,
just the leather.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't know who Michelle Pfeiffer was, and then that came out, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, we were all summer '92. We were all pretty much obsessed with Michelle Pfeiffer.
she was so hot in that, just the stuff she did,
Oh yeah,
Catwoman. So the whip and anyway, so Catwoman. I'm gonna say Felicia, also from Darkstalkers.
Sure.
Again, another Catwoman, but she had like the white fur on.
Right. Cammy from Street Fighter. I always loved Cammy.
I can't remember her name because she had a first and last name, but yeah, just Cammy from Street Fighter.
Yeah, I don't know. Just that hot British chick with the blonde braids that could beat your ass with her legs. Yeah,
with a nice booty.
Yeah.
They got that right in the Street Fighter movie.
They did.
That's one of the only thing. Yeah.
Kylie Minogue, great choice.
Yeah, she's great. No, I still love that movie just because it's sure entertainment value and laughing.
It's so bad, it's awesome.
But she was one of the correct things that they did. So yeah. I'm gonna go Jean Grey from X-Men.
Jean Grey.
Because and one thing I was noticing when I was going back not too long ago watching the X-Men cartoons is she's in trouble a lot. And Cyclops tries to go just for her rescue.
I did not like her on the X-Men
cartoon. She was just kind of like. She was like, oh, she did like the moan or whatever. It's
right.
Like, okay, well, this is good and bad. It's kind of annoying, but I do kind of like it.
I liked her because she was a redhead, and then Wolverine was always into her, but she was annoying on the cartoon. The one I like, the best thing they ever did with Jean Grey was when they did the Ultimate X-Men comics in the early thousands, because they kind of like changed her. They made her kind of like, she had this like punk rock kind of like short red hair.
Oh, sure.
And like she was showing like her belly.
Oh, sure.
She was wearing like a belly shirt, but she was like kind of like this punky,
I like
telekinetic badass.
I like the short red hair. Yeah, that was very cool.
I love that about her.
And in the movies, I did like the actress who played her.
Oh, Famke Janssen.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, she was good. Totally.
She played her well. I thought for the most part,
I guess they got like a younger chick for like the new movie or Apocalypse. She's in it.
Yes. Yeah. They did. Which she did pretty well.
She looks the part. I haven't seen it.
She looks the part. Yeah. I would say see it eventually.
Yeah, I will.
It's got its problems, but it's got some like Psylocke is.
Yeah, Psylocke
on point.
There we go. There's another one.
And Psylocke made my list. Yeah. How would you not like that ninja?
Again, British ninja.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad about this.
Yeah, she's awesome, and she's always in the video games too. She's in Children of the Atom. The Versus, and she's awesome.
Great character.
I'm gonna say my Shiranui, which is from Fatal Fury and King of Fighters. She has the red slinky kind of ninja outfit she wears.
Yeah, which we were just watching the anime of that.
We're just watching
flopping everywhere.
Yeah, the boobs flopping everywhere, watching the Fatal Fury anime.
As a little like mad props to our buddy Kyle Albee in Indiana, we'll say Blue Mary as well.
Blue Mary from the Fatal Fury series. Yeah, she's smoking hot. Terry Bogart's girlfriend.
Don't say that to Kyle because he hates Terry Bogart because of that.
I'm sorry, it's Kyle's girlfriend and not Terry Bogart's.
Well, he has a woman now, so just keep it on the DL.
It could be his mistress. I don't know.
What's the term? It's like there's an anime term for like your female fictional character, your waifu, I think is what
your waifu. Called. We'll just call her a boo too, because you know how that's a popular. That's my boo,
Wow.
So. But yeah, so yeah.
So many ladies we could keep going.
Chun-Li from Street Fighter,
Chun-Li.
she's so iconic, and those legs are just like...
You know, we're probably going to have to do another one of these lists at some point.
Another top 5. We'll do that, man. I was going to say, we got enough chicks to choose from, so many hotties. And...
we might have to, like, break it down for, like, video games, movies, cartoons.
There's so many we could, and there's so many, you know, ones that we find hot, so...
Yeah.
What's another one? I'll say Nancy Callahan from the Sin City comics and the movie. Even though they kind of watered down the movie with the strip scenes. So.
Yeah.
But Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba's still hot. But,
you ruined it.
Yeah. We can still imagine she really did it topless.
Yeah.
April O'Neil, as we talked about.
Yeah,
you know.
She originally was on my list, but she kind of like got dropped for other ones that are more iconic in my eyes.
She still got hot, even in the movies, except for we'll say the new ones because
I can't stand Megan Fox, but she's eye candy.
But yeah, she's not very bright.
She's not. Those movies aren't Ninja Turtles. I don't care.
They're like a what the F, like alien Ninja Turtle thing. But
that's its own thing. I don't give a crap. That's not my Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So I think we hit everybody. Oh, and also from Wildcats, I want to say from Image back in the day, Zealot and Voodoo.
I was gonna say
Zealot. You know,
it was funny.
Sexy.
Yeah, I was trying to think which one is he gonna say, Zealot, Voodoo, and then I was like, maybe he'll go crazy and be like Void. Like,
you know what? I did put Void.
There's nothing wrong with that.
She was the hot, like,
it was like
computer,
hot
alien thing.
She basically was just a hot chick that was just wrapped in saran wrap.
Right, pretty much. I mean, if you did a movie, it's just like go to the dollar store and saran wrap.
Just cover a swimsuit model in saran wrap and go.
And then you got Voodoo. It's like, okay, try and be smart. No. Okay, that sounds bad. No, be smart. That still sounds bad. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so I think we hit everybody. Is there any other ones you want to name?
I can't think of any off the top of my head at the moment.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I think that puts us at a standstill for the night. That is our top 5 lists. Please send us your top 5 lists.
Yeah,
we'd love to see what you got.
We want to hear your top 5. Like I said, it's awesome that you guys are hitting me up on Instagram and posting, your lists. Especially for the Misfit ones. Holy crap, I got like a ton of lists, which is awesome. But put them in that YouTube too, because we want people to see that we're getting people looking and all that. We got, some followers and stuff.
I might have to like work on like getting an Instagram myself, just so I can get some more people. Like maybe somebody listening to the podcast can get in touch with me a little more.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, it's so much fun. Even if it's just liking photos and stuff.
Gotcha.
It's not like a Facebook where there's not a lot of drama. A lot of times. So.
But that was the first yawn of the night, so that's our cue. I think.
First of many, but as always, hit us up on all of our media outlets, that we post on, on this, and stay metal and stay
frosty.
Stay frosty. And we'll see you guys and talk to you guys next time. Bye.